And the Bills Mafia Buffalo fan base platform. We are brought to you by Rich Brow Brewing, located at 5 South 20th Street, and they are Richmond, Virginia's premier Buffalo Bills backers bar. So, as you can see, I sound like a prepubescent boy because I'm getting over a cold a little bit here. But we have another newsworthy past week for both the Buffalo Bills and Buffalo Sabres. The Bills unleashed Josh Allen. They benched Keon Coleman and had a thriller against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this past Sunday. While the Sabres got a couple games back in the win column after Captain Rasmus Dahlin made his return from his leave of absence over in Sweden. So we're here to talk all things Sabres with two good buddies of ours. So not only recurring host Carl Eppers is here to join us, but also returning guest Joe Marino. So previously the Charging Buffalo and also an occasional contributor to our friends over at Waffle Sports when he can. So Joe, always a pleasure to have you on. What's going on new and exciting for you in your neck of the woods?
Nothing new. Always a good time to be on Step Brother Sports. Always fun evening. Thanks for having me back, guys.
You're a sweetheart, Joe. We love you, man.
Yes. I think
we
missed
you.
Yeah, I was going
to definitely miss you a whole lot.
I think we texted you this past Saturday, and it was just like, oh, yeah, I'm good. Let's do it. And then same thing with Carl. Same thing today. So, hey, let's fire it up.
Sure.
So, but anyway, some Sabres talk. Let's get right to it. So I want to talk about the offense. I want to talk about the offense to start right away. So started off a little inconsistent. Obviously, injuries playing a huge factor. But Tage, Tuck, Dahlin, they really started to come on these last few games. I mean, obviously on the last road trip they just took, didn't exactly start off too great, especially against Carolina. Then against Colorado. I mean, you saw some flashes of just some good offensive play. It was more depth scoring than anything, really just kind of taking the cake there. It wasn't until the Detroit game when Dahlin came back when offense really came alive. But like I was saying, secondary scoring is really starting to show up. The new revamped kid line with Isak Roseanne, you got Oslin scoring a bit on the power play. I mean, a lot of these Rochester kids finally starting to, give them a little round of applause. We've been shitting on Roseanne for like the last year plus. But it feels like that. But still, gentlemen, what have been some takeaways from what you guys have seen out of the forward group, just from top to bottom?
I'll start. The depth, honestly, like you touched on it, Roseanne and Oslin, like it was like poop or get off the pot, pretty much, in my opinion, at least. And they grasped the opportunity and really haven't looked back. Like Oslin 2-goal game, both of them, like they have not looked out of place whatsoever. And it's going to be a tough decision because now they're starting to get healthy. And like on paper, you would think they're one of the first two to go back because they don't have to go on waivers. But they've been playing so well, they might have to really think twice about what to do with them. I think that's been arguably the biggest storyline, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Josh Doan already making his way up to line one yesterday against the Oilers. I mean, like I said before, Roseanne, Oslin, I mean, again, they're finally showing that they're worth a damn here. I mean, Sean, what are some takeaways for you? And Carl, even feel free to chime in on that.
Yeah, well, I'm going to set Carl up here. Like, it's so interesting, right? So, like, we've been definitely on the Rosine bashing line for like a while, and the thing that's interesting, and I love to hear Carl's take on this, is like, what is it? And I think back of our conversation we had with Joey Catt, who covers the Stars, and we talked about the AHL level, how the Stars tend to like overcook their prospects to the point that when they jump in, they're ready. And I just have to wonder, it was like those guys just had enough seasoning, enough games played where they were able to get really like both sides of the puck, both offense and defensively sound. Like they could just kind of like hit that mark and then all of a sudden you like snap their fingers. It's just so weird that like this time when they're up, not only are they looking good, but like they're contributing that secondary scoring. They're on the score sheet almost every night. Awesome with two more goals last night. Rosine and tons of plays. They're playing really in all situations, both in defensive situations, then obviously, kicking in on the offense. But Carl, I'm wondering, like, what have you seen to maybe, try to define what the big difference is? Is it just a number of games played down in the A? Things just click? What do you think it's been?
Yeah, it's a good point and a good question. And maybe it's not coincidence that Rosine is doing so well after sitting down there for so long. It's funny because I remember texting you guys earlier in the season, and I wanted him to come up, but I mostly wanted him to come up because I thought he was just like a lost boy. Like Joe was saying, Pooper, get off the pot. Let's figure this out. He might be good, he might be bad, but at least we're like burning his rookie contract and not somebody that matters. And now he's doing great. He's got 6 points in 8 games. Like, that's incredible. But it's funny that they're kind of stumbling into this with all the injuries, and now he's really kind of coming out and having a great showing in the NHL. Oslin, I think, had a lot of promise, and now it feels like he's getting kind of hot. I think it took him a little bit to really get up to speed, but now he's playing quite nicely. It's what's interesting to me is I almost still put like Benson, Kulik in a similar category as these guys because they're all like similar style of play. I mean, the same criticism everybody's been giving, but now we're just like plugging in these couple guys, which kind of like leads to the question, are we just giving them such outsized opportunities that they should be doing well? That's kind of how I felt about Kulik. Like, he was playing on the first line, he's playing with Thompson. Like, of course he's getting some points. I mean, I think this one is unique because Rosine and Oslund are playing on like lines with Malenstein and stuff like that and still getting points. So
sparking some offense with them, the fourth line guys.
Yeah, it's great that they're actually like maybe playing in a less elevated role and still doing some damage. I mean, I think there's still an overall concern with the offense. Doan's been amazing, but maybe he's not like slotted as a first line guy, and same with McLeod. But yeah, it's been kind of frustrating, but now always perpetually frustrating and fun that we're forcing these young guys up, but now we get to see them kind of like play and flourish. We just got to make sure we do something with that before they get shipped out for nothing.
What about you, Joe? That's not the case.
I have 2 things on Roseanne. I was skeptical on Roseanne, not because of how I felt of him as a player. It was more situation based. I didn't think there was ever going to be a spot for him. And kudos to him for being able to I don't want to say like adapt his game, but if he's going to make it here long term, it's probably going to be in more of a bottom 6 role. And he has gotten a little bit bigger. Like, when they drafted him, he was a very skinny, small kid. Like, questions of, is he gonna really put on weight? But I remember listening to some interviews. They were looking into like how his older brother developed, and they were pretty sure that he was going to be able to put on some weight, and it looks like he has. He looks kind of tall. I got his elite prospects page up right now. They have him listed at 6 foot. Honestly, he looks a little taller than that when you see him on the ice, but I don't know. Maybe it's out of date. But anyways, Roseanne has played a lot of professional hockey, like 200 or so games in the AHL and 50 in the top Swedish league. And obviously he wasn't playing a lot when he was in Sweden in the top men's league. He wasn't getting a lot of minutes, which kind of prompted him to come over to the AHL a little sooner than most expected. But he's played a lot of pro hockey. So, like I said, definitely time for him to step in, but he's looked good. Hopefully he sticks around. I like him. I was making jokes earlier in the season, like they're going to end up trading him or waiving him and they're not going to get anything back. But like, that's not like an indictment on like him as a player. It's just like, that's kind of what happens when you're a first round pick and you don't carve out a spot in, it's been like 5 years. So
yeah.
Good on him.
The trade for Ristolainen back in that 2021 draft felt like ages ago. That was the same year Owen Power was drafted.
It is.
Yeah.
So he's been toiling in mediocrity for like four years.
Yeah.
It's like thank God that he's showing something, because I feel like they had to get to a point that they're going to like pull the plug.
He's a good defensive forward too. Like he's responsible on both sides of the puck. He can skate. Like he's a guy like I hate it's such a lazy comparison, but like can he be like a more defensively responsible Victor Olofsson that you can like plug him on the fourth line, maybe you can play on your second power play unit, chip away double-digit goals, like that would be awesome. Like
You need those guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And like maybe Oslin and Roseanne, they can be like when you think of like your stereotypical fourth line, you think of guys like Malenstein, Jordan Greenway. Are they going to evolve into more of like when Don Granato was their coach, when they barely missed the playoffs, and have more of like a skill bottom six as
Right.
opposed to
like a Ruslan Fedotenko Tampa making their run, right?
Right.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
That's
nice,
what I'm
nice
saying.
pull with that one.
Thank you. It's popping in my head.
Are they going to shift more towards that type of style across their lineup? Because, you know, selfishly, it's more fun to watch, too.
Oh, for sure.
Nothing against Beck Malenstein and the goon that they have that never
Josh
played.
Dunn. Josh Dunn.
Josh Dunn's a good hockey player, though.
Mhm.
So I don't want to group him in that mix, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, kudos to those guys. Definitely, maybe outside of Samuelson's resurgence. Definitely.
I was gonna talk about him a little bit later. Yeah, Samuelson's been quite very much a story so far.
Our boy Kess just got knocked out today too for Lindy, so we're gonna need some boys to step up.
Yeah, hey, Sean, I think you owe me a steak dinner with Samuelson. I think you bet. Well, I think our conversation the first time I came on was if they get anything more than a second round pick for Samuelson, you'll buy me a steak dinner.
Right.
I think I was going to say,
you have to come meet me at Mother's. You have to come meet me at Mother's. I'll be there.
Joke up the receipts on that one.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm happy to be wrong. At this point, I think he's definitely fetching you. I mean, they're obviously not moving them, but if they did,
that
the value just.
I think
right back up.
Over the summer, I told you guys, like, if they're gonna buy him out or trade him, it's gonna cost probably more to replace him. Like, that's what a third pair defenseman costs you nowadays, about $4 million. Like, look at the Kings. They signed like Cody Cece's making a little bit more than Samuelson. Brian Dumoulin, like these. That's what I think. So many people are like in this bubble that they forget what the rest of the NHL looks like. Yeah. Like last year, there was this whole dilemma over, oh my God, they got to get Peyton Krebs out of here. Yep. But like Peyton Krebs is your fourth line center. Like he is what he is at this point.
He also wears that fourth line center role with like a badge of honor.
Yeah. Yes. And he also still has that offensive capacity. He's in there.
Similar to what we were just talking about with Roseanne. Like he was a scorer coming up through the WHL, but he had to adapt his game, and you know he does okay. Like, is he a perfect player? Absolutely not. Disappointing as a prospect, the premier young piece in the Eichel trade, but like he does his job. He does it well. I don't know if he's going to be here long term, and honestly, Oslin might have stolen his job. To be frank, like we'll see what happens with that, but.
Krebs is an interesting one. I was just thinking about him, and keep on the same topic. Do you think that they can learn some extra skill sets? Like Krebs became a bit of a pest. Could these guys get another piece in their game to make them a little more tough, gritty, third, fourth line guys, or are they just going to be like skilled in defensive?
If Oslin got like another like 4 or 5 inches, that would probably help him a little bit. But I think more for him than anything, just a few extra pounds of muscle can go a long way for him.
I don't know if those guys have a dog in them like Krebs has, though. That's the thing. I don't know. I need to see a little bit more.
Yeah, the dog came out with that mustache out of Western Canada this past summer too.
He'll scrap it up. He'll be in a scrum. He's showing it.
I don't remember him being like when he came in. I thought the assumption was he was going to hopefully be a high-end guy. I don't remember him having like that piece. Maybe I just wasn't researching him that much, and I'm being optimistic that like there's some learned capability in there. But yeah, it would be nice to see some of these guys get some.
You're bang on, honestly. Like I watched in like my heyday of like doing research for the draft was that 2019 draft when Krebs was in it, and he was like a prolific scorer in the WHL. Like he was a great playmaker,
Right.
like
Amazing
super
vision.
good passer. And then he tore his Achilles, and I don't want to
That's
say
why he dropped, right, Joe? He dropped because of that, right?
Oh yeah, yes. He dropped pretty far, dropped to Vegas. He probably would have been like in consideration with where the Sabres were picking, which when they picked Cousins at like 7 or something, and then he dropped to like the late teens, early 20s, I want to say, to Vegas. So I don't know if that Achilles tear like ruined him or anything. I don't think so. Like he can still skate and stuff, but he's just had trouble adjusting to the NHL from an offensive perspective. But he was able to reimagine his game, and a lot of guys who can't cut it from a production level, like you got to do that. So, and good on him for doing that. But he might not last year. I don't know. I'm sure we'll get to this later on, but if Kevin Adams is still the GM, I think he's going to have a tough decision to make.
Yeah, and one more point about Krebs that I really liked. I mean, even going back to when he was sent down for one of those Calder Cup runs, I still think he has this. The thing they really valued out of that run was his vision, especially with making really big cross ice passes. And anytime they had a solid forecheck going, he was the one driving the play and getting those primary assists, which led to goals often. And I think that was when they lost in the conference finals against Hershey when he was up for that run too. So again, that player is still in him. But I still think, like we were kind of already talking about already, he gained a little bit more of that physicality, a little bit more of that chip on his shoulder. He's not afraid to drop the gloves either, which I think helps him in that capacity on the fourth line
too. He's a decent face-off guy.
I mean, considering we don't have a lot of good face-off specialists in general on the Sabres, but at the same time, like he has his role, he knows it, but he has to really earn a spot in the next coming weeks and even years at this point too. So, we already kind of touched on Samuelsson a bit, and again, I'll eat crow on that one just because again he started off guns blazing. I know my favorite line about Matthias Samuelsson was from a friend of the show, Derek Kramer. Of course, he said he would trade him literally for a dryer, but at the same point, I was all about maybe sending him to Siberia, shooting him into the sun. I think Zach Sheldon of Trainwreck Sports today even was saying like, hey, all those thousands of people coming out against him and I even commented on that saying, yep, guilty of that. So glad he's off to a good start. But in general, with the defensive struggles, just kind of in like the last, 10 or so days, like it kind of on that road trip, team's defense was a little bit poor and really on display in those losses. I mean, they kind of really shit the bed for them, especially against that Carolina game and in that last period against Colorado. Even Utah against as well. The goals against and per game played, they have a stat of 3.42. It kind of reflects that ongoing issue. But again, back to Samuelsson. Dude's getting like game-winning goals, like the one back on Detroit.
That's what I was going to say, Chris. Can I stop it for a second? I just thought this was so funny as we were talking about that. So as Joe was talking about like the average NHL third pairing defenseman that like most fans like aren't aware of, those guys that are making $3.5 to $4 million like a Cody Ceci, you think that all of those guys that would be in that conversation are like slightly more prolific offensive players than Samuelsson, and all of a sudden this year this guy is just like jumping into play and like sniping. He's got 3 goals right now. Like where is this coming from, guys?
He had a 2-goal night too. Everybody was on hat trick watch for him. I think it was a few weeks ago.
High for him. That's a real question. It might be.
Yeah, it's a damn shame. Damn shame they don't do the goal songs. We could have heard Gummy Bear like 3 times. Yeah, but
that overtime goal, it was like, who was that? Labushkin. Remember when?
Yes.
Like,
you were right. It was Labushkin. It wasn't Samuelsson.
It
wasn't Samuelsson. It was Labushkin had.
It was the similar vibes. Like, oh my God, Samuelsson just scored in overtime. Like it was awesome. The vibes were great.
He's feeling confident, man. Like he's picking his spots. He's picking corners and he's picking short side.
I think this is going to be the exception, not the rule, guys. Like, I don't like.
Let's
not
be
to
real.
pour water on it, but like,
let's be real.
I don't know if this is going to be like.
It's nice though.
Occurrence.
It's
very nice. Yeah, it's cool.
One more point. Yeah, go ahead.
Like, good for him. Like, I'm not even the biggest Samuelsson fan. Like, I watched him a lot going up with the development team, and I hated that pick. But like, he's not a bad defenseman. Like,
Right. Was he second rounder? He's early.
Yeah,
second
he was the first pick of the
pick.
second
Might as well
round.
be a first rounder, but
He was
yeah.
a Botterill pick, wasn't he?
He was a Botter. He was in the Dahlin draft, so they picked
That's
Dahlin
right.
and then Samuelson. Like he's not a guy that you send to Siberia. You don't buy a guy like that out. Like he's an NHL defenseman. Like if they would have bought him out, he would have been signed on July 1st at 12:03 p.m. by the Bruins or something, and he'd be flourishing.
Nah, he'd be Philly because that's where he was. That's where he was born
Right.
and
Yeah.
raised. So
You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
Joe, what do you think? Is it just a matter of like, so looking at his overall game, is it just he's a guy that's like mainly 100% healthy right now, and he's just confident? Like, is that that's the difference right now?
Like he's playing with some swagger, honestly. Like
playing healthy is what he is.
Yeah, healthy, and he did deal with a little bit of an injury early on too. And I'm surprised. Like I don't even remember what it was, to be honest. But he's playing good hockey. He's playing with Dahlin primarily, and he's almost been like the calming presence, even when he's not with Dahlin. Like whoever he's playing with kind of settles him down a little bit. Which like last year, like if you look at that, it doesn't really like it sounds insane to even say it right now. Hopefully it lasts. But even if he trails back and like you don't have him with Dahlin anymore, like third pair defenseman making $4 million is not the end of the world. Like in a year or two, he'll still have a few years left on his deal. Like that's gonna be, I hate to say it's gonna be a bargain, but like it's not gonna be like this. Trade him for a seventh, trade him for a dryer. Like, no.
Right.
Like, you're closer to getting a first round pick for him than a dryer.
Absolutely. For sure. One of the biggest things, too, with him and Timmins as well. So this is probably like the best de facto third pairing defenseman. And you've seen both of these guys play up in the lineup, which is nice. Like, when have we had the option to do that? Right.
Yeah. And then the fact that he is playing with Dahlin goes to really show that he took this offseason seriously with his training. I mean, again, I think the Thompson hit from last season when he was on the ice for it, when everybody had like fire and brimstone pitchforks against him, I'm sure that probably really stuck with him. And I'm sure that was the message he received for a long period of time. And let's be real, these players aren't blind. They're seeing what's being said to some capacity on social media. They can always say like, oh, I tune that stuff out, blah, blah. Like they all see that to some extent. So I'm sure like he took that in stride. And honestly, it's really showing that, like we were saying, playing with confidence, playing with some swagger, and players are starting to gravitate towards him. He's really starting to like wear that letter on his sweater with some real pride. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
I imagine like I have no idea what was said in like his exit interview, but I would have to imagine that like Lindy really tore into him for that
being a pansy.
Yeah, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
And like even like Thompson was on, I might have been like spitting chicklets or something in the off season, and like really bothered by it, like ooh. So
could this also be like
to after the whistle? So I hope maybe he took it to heart. I don't know.
Could this also partly be like getting more comfortable within Lindy's system, or having year two of having Lindy's like stamp on it? You know, he was a defenseman coming into it. They flushed out the defensive core a little bit. Maybe this is just like a product of him being able to jump up and being part of this like environment that Lindy's trying to create, where defensemen could maybe pitch in a little bit more offensively and feel more confident there.
Not a bad thing, that's for sure.
No.
Like I hate to bring this up now because like this is part of the reason why I think they're winning right now, but the next opportunity, like the next time they slide, I think it'd be a perfect time to axe Kevin Adams, because if they would have brought, because Lindy was available, like everyone knew Don Granato was getting fired. Lindy was available. They should have brought Lindy in and let the players adjust to the system, because then if the players are adjusting to Lindy's system for the last 25 games of 2 years ago, do you have that nightmare start of the season last year? Is it a little lessened?
I was texting Chris and Sean, if like whether or not winning, losing, if they're just out of a playoff spot by the holidays, that's a good enough excuse.
Right.
To tell everybody, like, all right, the guy's done. Like, they could be winning, they could not be. Doesn't matter. Not in a playoff spot. It's late November, early December. Just like that's a natural inflection point. Let the guy go. It's diplomatic. You can tell people that. You can tell the room that. Like, give some sort of reason. That's it.
I mean, those players aren't stupid.
Right.
Like, they know what's going on. Like,
some of them are probably anticipating it themselves, and some might truly, like behind closed doors, celebrate it just for all the grief.
Yeah, I think they got their fingers crossed, man. Yeah, they're hoping for it. I would be hoping for it.
Yeah,
like,
kind of one more point on the decor though. Obviously, they're going to be out or be without Kesselring for a bit. Byram's kind of shown some up and down play. Power, sometimes he's the real whipping boy of Sabres Twitter or social media in general, just based on some of his lapses in play. But obviously, like we talked about Samuelsson in great detail. Dahlin being back obviously is essential, just because most of that entire
they won that game for him. You know that.
Oh, absolutely. That one in Detroit was just his presence mattered there. But I mean, what else have we seen from the decor that has stood out? Obviously, we talked about, like I said, Samuelsson in great detail. I mean, you're going to have some guys being called up, whether it's Metza, whether it is Zach Jones out of Rochester. Hell, Ryan Johnson might make an appearance again. I mean, Jacob Bryson is still just the everlasting cockroach that just will just never not be a Buffalo Sabre at this point. I mean, what are your guys' continued thoughts on the decor before we kind of move into goaltending, which will be another conversation?
Metza did get the call up today.
He did.
So he's on the way. Yeah, he's on the way up. I didn't mind his game. Like, love to hear your guys' thoughts. But when he had that little brief, was like maybe 2 or 3 games, I want to say, that he was up here, he just played like a very like steady, non-assuming, like really no offensive upside. But he was like all right in his own end. I didn't hate it. And I think that Jones offers. Yeah, I think Jones has a little bit more upside.
Yeah, I think ideally, like, you're having one injury, you shouldn't have to play Zach Metza. And I think that's the problem. Like, they did not really address the right side of their defense in Rochester, really. Like, Reddy Murtka and Komarov and Metza are their only right shot defenseman on NHL deals, and Murtka is in the WHL now. So it's either Komarov or Metza. And, like, obviously it's going to be Metza. So, and Lindy likes, in an ideal world, the lefty-righty pairing. So, I mean, he's okay. He's fine. Obviously, you don't want to have him playing NHL minutes for like 20 games at a time, but to be a plug-and-play guy, I think he's okay. Would definitely rather have him in Rochester, but that's another thing. I would have rather seen Jacob Bernard Docker, but worse.
We have a fantasy football question for this one. That we're going to definitely talk about that later. So I have that coming on later. But so should I trade Addison for Christian Watson? So
Watson's on the upswing right now.
He is. He's coming off an injury, so he's finally back.
I would do that.
Yes. Also, hello to our Texas fam as always. Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, we'll talk fantasy football later. But yeah, decor is definitely going to be interesting. I mean, I was really hopeful and like also kind of biased because he's from Richmond. Zach Jones, I mean, he's probably still just predominantly an AHL defenseman, but I mean, in spot duty, I kind of like him a little bit better than Bryson at this point, but still.
I thought he was going to make the team over Bryson.
I thought so too. So, but again, the guy's a cockroach, Bryson.
Yeah, what is it with like Bryson? Like, he always makes the team. Like, what? Like, we don't honestly see it. I think he's got better.
He's got blackmail over somebody.
This has got to be, man. Like,
Kevin was asked after they signed him, and he was like, he just likes being there. Like, he's not gonna complain if he's not playing for 30 games. Like, he's
he's got.
Little do we know, he's the guy calling all the shots behind the scenes. He's the guy telling Terry and
he's
Kevin
not a problem in the locker room. Let's give him a 2-year contract. Like, all right,
right. Sign him well before free agency begins. All that.
Kevin Adams' long lost son or something like that. Like, he's in their pocket. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, like,
he's a fine 7th defenseman in the grand scheme of things.
Absolutely.
He's okay. He's been better. Like, a few years ago, he was horrendous, but like he's fine. Like, honestly, like, you don't notice him, and that's fine. Like, if you're not noticing your defenseman for the most part, like, There's
I
worse
mean, I
things.
think-
I'd rather have Ryan Johnson up here. But that's just me.
Carl, what are you trying to get
But
at?
no,
here?
I'm saying that I think the overall problem here is this is like an incredibly expensive defensive core. It's like I'm looking at the Puckpedia right now, and they're the third most spend on defense, and we're talking about it as being a problem. Like that overall is not like, it's frequently not a Samuelson problem. It's not really like any of these guys, but like when we're, we can't have. I mean, Darling going down is a huge hit, but like Byram and Power kind of need to step up and be the guys, right? Like there's so much money and cap going towards this that it's not it shouldn't be a negative on the team, and we shouldn't be sitting here talking about like, to Joe's point, like $4 million for Samuelson and how like he is doing well, but that's not like he shouldn't be part of the problem.
Yeah,
know
and
what I
also
mean?
with
Right.
the cap going up the next couple of years, that's going to be like a drop in the bucket at this point for
Yes.
his salary cap hit. So
I think that brings up a fair question too. When you talk about the money, and I know, but Power is at about 8, 9, something like that.
8.1 or something like that.
Yeah. Like
Oh.
at what point? At what point do we have to like ask the question if Power, especially with Darlene out, like can step in and be like a de facto number one defenseman? Like at this point, I don't think he's really shown anything to suggest that. Besides, obviously being able to play the minutes physically and have the endurance and have the offensive side. Do we have to start to question that? Because I think this is the year that Darlene took that big step. I want to
yeah,
say.
I would say, like, from just my perspective on it, Power is more complimentary. Like, he doesn't make the pairing. He is the supplemental piece to the guy who will be the more shutdown component. Whereas Power
So
can
Mirka, Mirka's partner. Okay,
sure,
I got
that's all, maybe he will be,
Yeah.
but still. But I mean, some
Not
nights
the
he
dude,
looks.
he's a dude.
Yes, that's a great way to say that, because some nights he looks like he has first overall or first round draft pick potential. Other times he just looks like he's just going for a morning skate out there. So again, he's sometimes the whipping boy. He sometimes shows off what got him drafted in the first place. So I could go back and forth on him. But again, to kind of keep the conversation going, goaltending, that is a hot topic right now, especially with Mr. Colton Ellis getting a third start in just a very few amount of games there too. So yeah, so give him right there. So
butt off, man.
So 2 wins.
Looked like a pretty smart move.
Oh yeah, solid performance against the Oilers last night. I think he was 32 saves against 33 shots. I mean, honestly, McDavid and Draisaitl were just shut down in general last night. I think somebody posted the stat line. I think it was Saber Source on Instagram that McDavid is 1.12 points per game against the Sabres. That is the lowest output against any team in a while.
It's interesting.
But still, with Ellis, again, plays really offered some much needed stability to the position. I mean, obviously, goaltending has been so inconsistent throughout the years. Alex Lyon finally getting some rest after really being rode hard early on. Getting UPL again, fans wanting him to, again, another person sent to Siberia. They're just traded for just a bag of pucks at this point. But we have another 3 goaltenders tandem right here going for the team. What do we make of this? A really annoying conundrum here, just because it not only is that goaltender taking up another forward spot or another defender spot. Like, do you wonder, is somebody going to get sent through waivers? I mean, if it's going to be Ellis, like, he's going to get picked up immediately, or even Lyon for that matter. But I mean, is UPL a tradable asset at this point? That's really kind of what I'm getting to here.
And aside of that, before you guys take the question, at what point have we seen enough from Alex Lyon and Ellis to consider trading UPL? And obviously, there's been some whispers in the A about Mr. Levi, maybe not super happy. I've heard that refuted though by an inside source that knows the family. But I mean, nonetheless, I mean, UPL is an asset, a fairly valuable one, although his value might be a bit down at the moment. But would you guys feel comfortable to make a move?
Yeah.
I mean,
I wouldn't do it
these
right
guys
now. I would wait.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Carl. Go ahead.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think these couple guys have been playing really well, and ultimately EPL is like a good player that somebody could probably pick up at a bit of a discount, and he'll probably come back and be pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, and ultimately with the, we keep talking about the cap going up, but his cap number is going to be, it's reasonable-ish now and is going to be more reasonable later. And yeah, man, feels like we got a little bit of a logjam again. It feels like it was just yesterday we're all complaining that there is this like 3 goalie carousel, and now we're excited because there's a couple new guys that are like exciting and making things interesting for us. But yeah, I think ultimately like 3 is not a long-term solution, and if it means like trading what should theoretically be a sure-ish thing with UPL, like go for it.
Joe, what is he? 4.125, something like that.
For 4.75, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was just under 5 per year.
4.75. I have it up in front of me. Luukkonen has the 24th highest cap hit for goalies in the league right now. So like,
yeah,
the sticker shock, like where it's going to be an adjustment, but it's just like Samuelson. Like,
yeah,
he is at basically the bottom. Like he's closer to backup level pay than starting. So like take that for what it's worth. I wouldn't jettison him right now. I don't think you could trade him right now, really. Like there's not many that seems like more of an off-season trade to me.
Yeah.
You don't really see goalies. I mean, Colorado did it last year, but I feel like you don't really see it very often. It feels more of like an off-season trade. If you can make the 3 goalie rotation work for the rest of the year, I would do it, unless like Ellis or Lyon just completely are lights out and like Ellis is starting like every night and is winning and playing super well. Then maybe you cut the cord. But like if you're not really sure about it, I would just keep Luukkonen because like he has the tools. Like he's a big guy, he's athletic. He had one good year, and goalies are completely random for the most part. So. Like you got 4 guys that the organization is clearly pretty high on right now, so I would just kick the can.
Leinenen's coming too at some point.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and Ratzlaff and
he's in the
other goalie Leanders in the OHL, who's on like the best team in the league. So he's a guy who might get a contract. So there are some decisions looming because Levi also will have to go on waivers next year if he doesn't make the team. So we're talking about 4, like if they don't do anything, you're talking about 4 goalies who could have potential claim to a roster spot. So
Right.
My one point I want to make one point about Levi is some of those whispers you were hearing. You had to think there was some level of just discontent from Levi, especially Colton Ellis is relatively the same age. He's had a number of games
from outside the organization, right?
Exactly. So these are not the homegrown guys that you're used to like talking about. I mean, granted, Levi himself wasn't even homegrown, but he was still traded as like a very early on as a prospect. So you could almost like kind of count him as like a homegrown talent just because of how much time and effort they're putting into him at this point. But still, you had to think there was some level of discontent or dissatisfaction just for seeing Ellis get all that love and adoration that he got, especially on that national broadcast when they're on TNT. Mm-hmm. He got to talk to freaking Henrik Lundqvist and like he was like starstruck in that moment. But still, like Ellis is showing he's putting up some numbers. I mean, he's handled himself quite well. He doesn't. I mean, I don't think he's been outright pulled in a game at this point. Is that correct? Yeah. So like they've leaving him out there.
Like 4, but like it wasn't his fault or anything.
Right.
The
that was like before Dahlin came back, and like they haven't won a game in the last like 3 years if Dahlin hasn't played. So like
exactly,
like if
he's very good side to side. He's got good movement.
So very composed. I like him. I would keep him around. And then another thing worth noting: the Sabres gave Ellis his housing letter. Which is basically like a guarantee, like go get a place, you're not going anywhere. And if they do send him away, trade him, waive him, whatever.
Right.
I think they're on the hook for any like moving expenses and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Not that that's a big deal, but I do think that makes sense. And you could think about back to when that happened. Like they obviously were not like planning on making a move. They had planned on Georgiev being somewhere. And so I think when he became available, that was like kind of a shocking move to them that they had to really strike. You know, they obviously had the waiver, high enough a waiver slot to be able to get him. But they obviously had like their pro scouting staff must have been really high on him. And I mean, not for nothing, he slightly outperformed Levi in the A last year, his numbers. But
He did.
One other thing I wanted to mention about the UPL thing, Joe, you talked about with the trade. I think that UPL, and I agree with you, it might not be a move that you could do now, but I think UPL would have to be, or you would at least obviously want him to be as part of a hockey trade, like to bring in like a legitimate forward or like a legitimate, maybe like a top 4D if you can. I would lean maybe more towards forward just because, well, obviously with where their injuries are, but yeah, if you have to move that trade out to the offseason, obviously you could do whatever, but like to see him move. I don't really want a future. I'd rather get a player like a 1-for-1 swap.
Yeah.
Because goalies, generally speaking, are valuable. So
yeah. Here's one from Steve. So with that contract, does UPL pass through waivers without getting picked up? If the Blues pick him up, that would ultimately be an Ellis for UPL trade. I mean, you could really think that way. I mean, because the Blues are looking to already be sellers right now. They're going through it right now. They're obviously the highlight of their last like few games is when they shut out the Sabres here in Buffalo a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know. I mean, tough to say, but like I think it'd be kind of hard for somebody to just pick that up all of a sudden. I mean, you have some cap rich teams at the moment, but I don't think UPL would be like an easy pickup right away.
Yeah, like I'm looking, the only team there's like a good portion of the teams that can take his salary on. Like the Blues, they have two goalies that they like. I don't think they claim them. Like it's a big commitment too. Like it's not every day that you see a team claim a guy with like 3-4 years left on his deal. Like typically it's like
right
1 year financial commitments that are very low.
Right. An expiring deal. Right.
Right. I'm looking at the teams. I really don't see anyone that would claim him. And I don't think the Sabres would waive UPL. I thought they were going to waive Ellis, but once I heard that like they gave him his housing letter, I'm like, okay, they must really like him. And I think Lindy was even talking about like we had our eye on this guy for a while. So
right, it has to be the case just based on everything that's happened that we discussed.
Yeah, and I'm sure the Blues didn't think that he was going to get claimed either. Like,
sure,
he had 2 years, and I'm sure they didn't think the Sabres were going to pick him up. Piggybacking to the Levi discussion, I'm sure there definitely is some frustration on his part because, like, he knew when he signed his contract that Luukkonen and Lyon were here, and he was going to Rochester. Like, he knew that was going to happen. But he didn't know that they were going to sign Alex Georgiev, and he didn't know that they were going to claim Colton Ellis, who is basically the same age. So there's got to be some frustration there. And now, like I mentioned earlier, you got 4 goalies who are under contract for next year, and that's not even factoring in. You got 2 prospects in Rochester nipping at his heels and another one on the way in juniors that might earn a contract as well. So it's a very crowded goaltending position. And like coming out of college, Levi wanted that opportunity to play. And if he doesn't see that, I really wonder what's going to happen.
That's a good
But like
point.
you look around the league, how many teams can put Levi in right away? Not many. Like,
yeah, a team you don't want to be on, basically.
Right.
Carl, what were you going to say?
Oh no, I just thought it was a good point on like out of college how there was all those rumors that we needed to effectively get him NHL games, otherwise he would have foregone his rights and went to free agency, right? Like he was at that point in his contract where he could have went back and played another year at college, but like there was kind of rumors out there that he was kind of forcing himself into the NHL conversation so they could get on NHL payroll and be part of the have his contract in and going and presumably staying in the NHL. There's all those rumors back then, so it can't be like he's suddenly 2 years later is now happy that there's like 3 people above him. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And I mean, considering this, Levi's been a predominantly AHL goalie. Yes, he had the run he did in that the season where they almost got in, where they miss out by just a point. But like for a guy who's been in the AHL, he certainly likes to think, like, again, not trying to slander the man by any means. He certainly thinks he has a lot of power in the organization just from that one run at this point, considering most of his game time has been in the AHL at this point. I mean, obviously the team has a vision and you're trying to season him at this point, but hell, you look at last week when Mike Leone was outright just saying, like, I don't care if your name's Devin Levi, as the dude's ripping like 3 zins at the same time. So that was a hell of a press conference in more than one way.
Out of Buffalo?
I believe so, yes.
You know what else?
That's a big commute to Rochester.
Yeah, right. It's interesting too. Like, so Levi is happy to come to the Sabres organization. He gets traded where in Florida he's got Bob and he's got Spencer Knight, and then he gets buried even worse in the Sabres organization. So I see that, he's obviously not too happy about it. But dude, look at, other than the time that Chris Maz talks about, like every time he's really been up here, I'm not saying that it's his fault, but he hasn't really played that great. Like, when has he played good? He hasn't earned more playing time in Buffalo. I'm just being honest. Like, would you guys disagree?
Yeah, you're right. Like, ever since, like, he looked pretty good coming out of college. Like, when he played here right away, like, he was pretty good. But then they gifted him essentially the starting job out of camp 2 years in a row, and he didn't play well. And, like, I don't want to say it, like, cost them the season last year, but, like, they waived James Reimer, and then they were kind of like Luukkonen wasn't playing well. He wasn't playing well. The team as a whole wasn't playing well. You lose all those games. Then you get Reimer back, and then you send him back to Rochester. Like, now they're finally doing it right. And
they should have did this all along. Right.
Yes, exactly. And like, you're giving Luukkonen mixed signals, and like, then you pay Luukkonen. Like, Eric Portillo had it right. Like, he was like, get me out of here and I'll go to LA and maybe I'll have a chance. Like, it's crowded. It's crowded right now.
Yeah. Another one from Steve right here. Refreshing to see guys like Levi, Olsen, and Roseanne were able to develop in the AHL instead of pushing a guy too fast. Yes. Finally.
We just hit on that.
Felt like forever
Positive
to wait
spin.
for all of
I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of getting a little bit more on some of those prospects coming in and playing well, of course. So you got Zucker. Yes, still sounding like a preteen boy with my
sound great.
My coach. But anyway, Zucker and even Josh Norris seen back at practice and their non-contact jerseys, of course. No real timetable. Thinking Zucker might be back this weekend against Carolina, but it's still nice to see Josh Norris come back just from the injury, which everybody thought would be months. Now it's only been about 5 weeks. So either way, still nice to see. But Olsen and Roseanne really making it difficult to get them out of the lineup. I mean, got a lot of these injured guys come back. I haven't even mentioned Zach Benson. He's still in a walking boot, and he apparently might be coming back to skate tomorrow. But again, we talked about Peyton Krebs a lot, about how his fourth line role has really served him well. Can't forget Jordan Greenway. I mean, who ultimately, like, these guys are scoring goals. They're contributing. Who's going to go back to Rochester, or even worse, potentially get waived and potentially picked up by another team because got some lineup decisions to make? Or do they finally get their hand forced to maybe trade one of these goalies too? So, I mean, or is there a trade of another kind that can happen here? What do you guys think? Because again, some real decisions got to be made, especially when some of their higher powered forwards come in.
I think Jertson is the easy one. That's for sure. That's a gimme. It might break Lindy's heart a little bit, but
yeah,
like, he's got to go.
Yeah, kind of just adding to your point
there,
Steve.
Like Kozak could go back down.
Yeah, Kozak.
I mean, I like him a lot, though.
He's good. He's very serviceable.
Kozak has to go on waivers. I don't think he would pass through. Although he does have 2 more years left on his deal, like we talked about, not wanting to claim a guy with several years left. But I mean, he's on a league minimum deal, so
right.
Yep. And Josh Dunn's still playing well, so could not agree more.
That's tough.
I mean,
I don't
even
know.
Malenstein too. I mean, he plays with he plays with the edge, and he's obviously fast.
I was going to say Malenstein doesn't have a two-way deal though, so he's there. So, and this is the last year of his deal too.
I mean, they could probably try and waive Dunn. I don't like. He's playing pretty well. I wonder if he would get picked up.
Yeah, it's really
big
tough
guy
to say.
in that front.
Yeah,
yeah.
I kind of like him as a player.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I mean, you don't have to carry 7 defensemen. Like, they could just carry 2 extra forwards instead if they really wanted to. You throw Geertsen back down. I'm kind of like tinkering with.
Yeah, he's got two-way. He's on a two-way deal, so that'd be easy to move him.
So play him.
Man, this is tough. Yeah. I don't envy Lindy Ruff and Kevin Adams in making this decision. The easiest thing they can do is just throw Oslin or Roseanne back in Rochester, and they don't have to worry about losing anyone on waivers. But
which one would you keep? Which one would you guys keep up here?
I mean,
I'd probably keep Roseanne.
Me, I'd pick Oslin just because he's a center, more of a centerman than Roseanne.
Right. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. But if you keep Tage at center, like, the need for a center isn't as extreme, I guess.
Right. And then when Norris comes back, you could even have him be number 2 center as opposed to number 1. Tage being number 1, I think, looks to be the move at the moment. Then Norris doesn't have to have as much.
Tage is going right now.
Tage
hasn't been going like he has been. Like he just hit that gas in the last couple of games, which is nice to see that that's still in there.
Yeah. So, but a lot of real tough choices coming down that pipeline for sure. But just to take a quick brief break, let's take a word from our sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. So, hockey's back, as we already know. And this season, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, brings you all the speed, skill, and nonstop action you love. So, DraftKings Sportsbook delivers the unmatched intensity of the NHL right to your fingertips. From player props to the thrill live in-game betting, every drop of the puck is your shot to win big. So, a couple lines we have going right now. We were talking a little bit about this before the show got started. So, for the Buffalo Bills this week, they are currently, for Thursday Night Football, -6 as the road favorites against Houston. You see CJ Stroud not getting the start this week because he's still in concussion protocol. But then these Buffalo Sabres, they are, I think I had that one up here just a moment ago, just going by what DraftKings Sportsbook has as the current lines. Come on. Buffalo Sabres, as of right now, home favorites -170 on the money line right there. Calgary, not exactly off to a great start there, but still just some current odds for you to look at there if you're just betting strictly on the Buffalo market. But new customers, this one is for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get paid out $300 in bonus bets instantly. So light the lamp all season long with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN. To turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. And that's in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. And gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. And in Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved. And now back to our regularly scheduled program.
I am Batman. I like the Chris Batman voice.
I was going to say, a couple of my. I was going to say a couple of my.
Supposed to have a commentary on the sponsorship, but that was sick.
Yeah, I was going to say I had a couple coworkers today say
I did it for you.
Christian Bale Batman. So
exactly, yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yep, exactly. So I wanted to kind of have one more point about the Sabres, just because this one's been a conversation point, especially while they were losing, and then I'll kind of want to transition over to the Bills. And football, of course. So obviously there's been a good bit of chatter about one Brendan Shanahan stating he would be interested in working for the Sabres if there was an opening. Obviously, like you might not need too much catastrophe or too much more catastrophe or losing to take place before there was even more than a chance that he could be fired. I mean, because obviously last year of his contract. And if for whatever reason maybe a coaching change was needed as well, you have Pete DeBoer just lurking out there as well. So very, very winning, very storied winning coach. Deep playoff runs, you name it. So keep in mind, obviously, vibes are a bit better with these last couple of wins, of course. Darlene's back, what have you. But if more of this kind of BS that has been kind of ailing the team these last couple of years were to happen, like maybe a huge losing streak, do we think Pegula would finally have the stones and pull the trigger and get rid of Kevin Adams and make moves like this to kind of bring some legitimacy back to the organization?
No, I don't think so. I know we all want it to happen, but like he hasn't made an in-season GM change since Darcy was fired years ago.
Yeah, and that was well before any the current regime has been here. So
right.
Says, Steve, again, going into tonight.
The big move when there is no other choice. Like when they fired Kruger mid-season, like they had to. Like there was no other choice. Like Kruger, their plan, I'm telling you, like Ralph Kruger was their GM. Like their plan was Kevin was going to be the GM, but Kruger was going to have all the say. Like ever since Kevin has been the GM, like the coaches have had so much say in roster construction. And that goes back to when Ralph was the coach. I really don't see it. I really don't. Like unless they lose like 15, 20 games in a row and they're being talked about on national media every day and like they're just getting torn through the mud and like it is just like embarrassing. Also, I don't think it's going to happen while the Bills are playing.
Especially big Bills games are still happening too. I mean, they're still fighting for the division. I mean, it's still wild, I think, in general, for somebody like Brendan Shanahan to at least even be rumored to like wanting the job, of course. But still, you had that line allegedly from Terry Pegula saying, like, I'm the president of hockey operations. I'm the captain, blah, blah, blah. I mean, like, will he have said that? It's like, come on.
The optimistic viewpoint is maybe Batman showing up for that first game. Maybe he's talking to him a little bit. I mean, there's got to be like Lindy Ruff can't be that blind, and I think he wants the Sabres to just win. So maybe he's kind of like got some influence. Maybe kind of feels like, I mean, without knowing any context, but him coming in, him being Buffalo guy, maybe he's got some sort of influence over it. Like, and again, I think this is probably me being more optimistic. I mean, I want Kevin Adams gone. I want Brendan Shanahan in. But like, if there's any hope, I think it's got to be like there's got to be some sort of little birdie on his shoulder telling him this is a really good idea for him and his brand.
Yeah, and then you even have Rando. Sorry. I was going to say, you even have. Sorry, you make your point about Yarmo. Sorry.
Not Yarmo. I think Bettman was there because they were talking about the outdoor game or the new stadium. I think that's why he was there. I think that's curious. Like why is he there? But he was asked by the media shortly after when he was discovered there, and he was like talking up Terry, like he's a good owner. He gets too much flack, yada yada yada. So I don't know, like.
But Bettman will also rather have Brendan Shanahan, the GM of the Sabres, for that game. You know, if he's excited about this game, he wants better optics than Kevin Adams, and he wants better optics than this roster, which gives into like the conspiracy corner of Gavin McKenna. But maybe that's another conversation. But,
Oh yeah, getting another tank here would just like decimate what's left of this fan base and their season ticket holders.
Yes.
God.
as far as Shanahan goes, I would love to have him in. I was actually watching the Amazon like docu series. I think it's called like Face Off, and
they had the Leafs
had
feature,
an
right?
episode on Shanahan, and like I watched it a few days ago, so it was relevant. So it was cool to watch. Highly recommend watching the series. Actually,
You're
anyways,
the second person to tell us that.
yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good, especially the episode on Shanahan. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about him, but
Oh yeah,
he's more than qualified. Like he would bring some credibility, much needed credibility. And you brought up DeBoer too. Like beggars can't be choosers. Like I'll take Shanahan. If you can't get DeBoer, you can't get DeBoer. But if you get both of them, I think that's the dream scenario. That's credibility. Like guys who have won, and I mean, like Shanahan has only gotten like one or two playoff series wins.
I mean, as a player, he
won some cups
several
as a
times.
player.
He did win. Yes, that is true. But as an executive, like he made the playoffs, which I think, sitting here on November 18th, 2025, and say the Buffalo Sabres will make the playoffs for 10 years in a row and only have like 2 playoff series wins to show for it, I'm sure we all would be like, okay,
Hey, at least we're going to the dance in general.
Have a chance.
Yes. So I think more realistically, I don't think they're gonna let's call a spade here. Like, are they gonna pay Brendan Shanahan what it takes for him to come here? I don't know. Maybe not. I have no idea. I'm gonna assume no.
Probably assuming right, but in this day and age,
maybe he's had enough, and they're like, okay, what the hell? Here's the money. Go make this team good again, and I'll go worry about the Bills.
I'll make one quick point, Chris Maz, about that. It's small market teams that are spending money. You see our Pirates today. Rumors that they are in on 2 of the biggest free agents in the MLB free agency.
Look at that.
You got to make Skeens happy, bro. Like Skeens ain't gonna stay forever. So I'd like to see that they were in on Bo Naylor Naylor, and then he resigned with Seattle, and now they're saying they're in on what's the guy from the Phillies? Home run hitter from the Phillies. I can't think of his name right now, but he's going to be a good money pickup too for somebody. So nice to see Mr. Bob Nutting looking to make some moves. Take notes, Kevin, or
take notes, Terry. Take notes, Terry. In this case.
I mean,
but yeah,
guys, they haven't even like managed their cap well enough to get any key players. Like they're still bottom 5 in the league in cap space. Like it's just such a disaster. They can't even do that and go out and get a big name.
So I was gonna say Carl knows ball. If we're talking baseball too. He's predominantly a Yankees guy, no less, but at the same time, still, you know some ball.
Yeah. I don't know that much ball. I don't know. I mean, I'm the adopted Yankees fan. Still just primarily hockey and NFL here, but it's nice. I'm pretty close to the Yankee Stadium. So
I think a few weeks ago we were all Blue Jays fans though at that night.
Yeah.
you bet we were. That was buzzing. That was amazing.
Yeah, it's soul crushing nonetheless. I mean, granted, it was nice to that it wasn't like our team just like at our core, but still would have been sweet to like have that like just moment to see them win. Just brutal thinking about that one again, but still, kind of shifting things over to the Bills, of course. So if you aren't watching anything in the background, I just have the replay of the Bills Bucks game on NFL Network right now, just on in the background. So they just had what was one of the Josh Allen's touchdown runs that he was just bulldozed into there for a little bit. Actually, no, it was James Cook's wheel route touchdown just happened not long ago.
That was a nice one.
But that was a good one. But
play design.
Absolutely. They rinsed the stink off of that Miami game. Nice emphatic win, 2-score win. But it was back and forth. It was exciting to say the least. But not without some really fugly moments as well for their standard. Team goes to Houston Thursday night this week against that stout Texans defense. Fun fact: Allen has never won in Houston yet in his career, but he is undefeated on Thursday Night Football. But here, obviously, the bigger story: Keon Coleman benched. So obviously he blew it, missed another meeting. This is his third documented time with a missed meeting. It was obviously a breaking point for Sean McDermott, breaking point for the team. But then Gabe Davis, Miko Hardman also came in. We were elevated from the practice squad. But the passing offense resembled a Brian Dable offense that day. Was that a coincidence? Never know. But still, you saw some YOLO Josh Allen, whether it was the horrendous chest pass for the pick that he had there, and then also that almost super freaking awesome lateral play he had for Ty Johnson. But gentlemen, in this case, with this benching, kind of keeping this more specific to the wide receivers, with this benching of Coleman, and even that really awkward press conference he did, then you also have the return of Gabe Davis. What do you think this means for Coleman in the future, and better yet, for the Bills receiving core?
I'm going to jump in just real quick and grab this one. I'll let you guys take it. For one thing, too, I think we got to keep in mind that like the Bucs defense is horrendous. I think they're just as bad as the Bills defense. So as much as it was nice to see the offense kind of get in a rhythm and gain some confidence for, down the stretch here, that's great. I just don't think that the Bucs defense is like one of the better ones. It's definitely like a unit that can be beat by several teams. So I'm not too excited about it. Again, nice to see it happen. But as far as Keon goes, yeah, man, like I think he's just as obviously like Deion Dawkins came out and said it. We've heard certain things from like his agent. There just seems to be some maturity issues where he's not learning the lesson clearly at this point, which sucks because it's a second round pick that you spent on this guy. And now
second round pick you could possibly get, pick 33.
Right. And that's kind of my point. And you're going to get to a point, and the Bills are very much as you always hear from players and people that are in the know, are very much a culture-based team, as we know as well. So I don't think that bodes very well. It's like, it's okay if it's a player who's going to cause some kind of friction in the locker room, but they're productive, like a Stephon Diggs on his way out. The coaching staff is going to be able to look the other way. But when you're not being productive on the field and you're making these mistakes, I think he's in the stratosphere of potentially like being cut. If not this year, or maybe deactivated or something, but they're going to have to seriously look at him in the offseason and see if, they need to move off from him, I think, via a trade or an outright release. But I think it was nice to see that Hardman and Gabe Davis get quickly integrated. Davis with a couple catches that were nice in a possession type of role, but Hardman taking some deep shots to him and loosening up that defensive shell. I think like the Bills are just in need of guys that play different varying roles on the field that can open up the game for other players, and Keon just wasn't doing that. So what do you guys think?
Yeah.
I don't
know. I feel like
go for it, Carl.
Yeah, to the point of like doing different things, I think even more challenging for Keon is Gabe Davis also plays a similar game. Like he can kind of bully ball. He's not like ultra fast. He can be stronger than the next guy and just pull in the reception. So like that's a problem for him. And so let's be real. Like Gabe Davis was a good player. The only reason why everybody was upset with him was because he was pushed into this like role of being a number one receiver, and he just wasn't following through because he ain't that guy. He's just unfortunately not that guy. So like now that he's coming in and can kind of play a complementary role and get 40 yards and maybe do some stuff, get some key first downs, like that could be a problem. Could he also compliment him? Yeah, I think he could probably also compliment him. But yeah, it's interesting that we have like it's almost like the Sabres like goaltending situation. It's like, well, we got some things to be excited about, but nobody's awesome. And but it's a crowded room now where we have like only so many spots to go around. Yeah, that's definitely like, I don't, maybe suboptimal is not the right word, but like you prefer to know who your three guys are and feel really good about it and like figure it out from there. But yeah, I think it's definitely a problem for Keon that we got so many guys. Samuel, we got Moore, we got Marco Hardman now taking kicks. Like,
yeah, I wanted to kind of bring that one up actually, because Miko Hardman, he was on the injury report today, and yesterday. So he had a calf injury. So he might be down for the week. I also saw Brandon Codrington was picked back up on the practice squad. So Steve again chiming in saying Keon needs to sit another week to deepen the message. While I don't necessarily disagree, they might not have a choice because if Samuel can't go, you already have Mecole Hardman who can't go. You're not going to just randomly waste a spot on Brandon Codrington after literally just cutting him from the roster. I mean, Ray Davis showed on Sunday as well that he can also do some solid kick return duties. I mean, hell, Ty Johnson on that screenplay showed he can still have some wheels. So if they kick to him, just as long as he's got the vision, he can still make that happen. So, I mean, it's really tough to, and just sucks in general that you have to have this conversation about Coleman just because of how much promise that was there. Just like the initial just swagger and just kind of like first impression he had. But now I was listening to Tim Graham's podcast earlier today, or just how that just looks like such a facade at this point. It's just, and now what he's shown just as far as professionalism is just really what's defining him at this point. As far as, again, yes, when he was drafted, he was 20 years old, sure, but like this is literally your job, your full-time, dedicated 100% job that you need to commit to. And guys would fight each other tooth and nail just to be able to have a chance to even sniff a practice squad. And here's Keon showing up late to meetings for the third documented time, and the team's just sick of his shit.
Dancing on the sidelines pregame. Great. That's a good look.
Yeah. I saw some commentary on that. Like you can make an argument saying like, yeah, that's a bad look because he is obviously not in the game. It just kind of looks like he's not taking it seriously. But then I heard another like converse side of that too, is like, is he just staying loose just to kind of help his other teammates feel loose? Like you could say that, sure. But like
in the context, it's not, it doesn't add up to a positive picture, you know?
Of course not. Of course not. But I mean, it just sucks because again, for what he was drafted for and what the team really wanted to put into him, still most of the season he got 70% of the snap share. And now it's just where we are currently with it. It just sucks, plain and simple.
Yeah.
And what makes it worse is moving down to let the Chiefs draft Worthy. And now here's a guy you might have to move off of 2 years in. Like,
right.
Another maybe draft blunder, unfortunately, for Big Baller Bean.
Yep.
Well, he also passed on Xavier Leggett, and he's not exactly like doing tons of work either. But yeah, it's definitely I think you'd prefer to have Worthy instead of the trade back and then trade up for Carter, who's now injured and didn't do much last year. But yeah, I mean, you can play those kind of like retrospect. But I was listening to The Volume with they have that guy John Middlecoff on there. He had a really interesting point. I don't know if you guys heard it, but he was like, he felt if the Bills weren't in the position that they were in, having just lost to Dolphins and like already having the few losses and especially a couple in division, that punishment might not have happened. Like us on the outside just might not have heard about that at all. But where McDermott is feeling pressure, seeing that happen, he might have just needed to like make a statement. So we could fast forward like 4 or 5 weeks and like kind of forget about this, and maybe Coleman's back in the picture or we're good. But this could just be like an interesting point in time where there's just a whole lot of stress in that Bills locker room, or at least for Sean McDermott. And I kind of like hope that he has a little pressure on him to perform. But I thought it was a pretty interesting, like more insider perspective on maybe like why that happened and why that could have been different had the Bills just like kind of kept winning.
Yeah, another point by Steve here. Would have rather had Ladd McConkey. I mean,
Me too.
Hindsight's 2020. I mean, he looks
Hindsight's
phenomenal
2020.
right now. Yeah, but like, it's just, again, it just sucks that you have to have this conversation about what seemed like such a promising idea. I mean, contested catch being his forte for a while, sure, but like, I think if they're going to give him another chance, you gotta let him see what he does in the slot. Be a big slot player. I mean, yes, they have a lot of repeated purposes with other receivers who can play in and out of the slot, but try more guys on the outside. You never know. Tyrell Shavers had the most separation by any NFL wide receiver this past week.
How about that? Good for him.
So, I mean, anything can happen. But kind of keeping things going on the topic of football. So, Joe, I know this is more so in your wheelhouse. So, fantasy football, you are definitely the sleeper pick with the Io Mayor suggestion the last time we had you on when we talked. But
He hasn't
That's
done
right.
much, unfortunately.
You nailed it on that 1 week, though. That's all that
Hey,
matters.
when you call your shot and you get it right, you call your shot and get it right. So, who do you guys have this week? Just in any of your lineups that you like?
Man, to be honest, I haven't even looked at my fantasy team because the injury bug bit me hard, and I'm very bitter about it. If Emmanuel Wilson's available, I would pick him up because good running backs these days are hard to find. Josh Jacobs is down, so if he's available, I would spend up on him. That's for sure.
I will tell you this, Joe. I also got hit hard by the injury bug. I was Malik Neighbors' second pick in a 12-team league. I went Josh Allen and then Malik Neighbors. So I've been without him most of the year. And then I think my third round pick was Brees Hall, who did nothing until as of late, in the last couple of weeks. Nice to get a little bit back on my ROI there. But yeah, Josh Allen single-handedly obviously won me my week.
Yeah,
and I've been interesting. Yeah, and Todd's.
I've been hit by the injury bug primarily because I drafted Omarion Hampton in so many. I think 4 out of my 6 leagues I'm in. That really screwed me.
I had Scapo too. Similarly,
yeah.
My first round pick was CeeDee Lamb. My second round pick was Bucky Irving, and my third round pick was Omarion Hampton. So that should tell you how my season went. Yep.
Tough.
I'm still in it. I can make it at 7-7, but tough. Sometimes
I'm 11-11.
I feel like the Sabres, honestly. What are you gonna do? Your 3 best players are injured. You're not gonna win with that.
Right. I will say the league I'm doing best in is actually the Rich Brow League that I was invited in by Rich Brow manager Hank. So I am 7-4. I think I am tied for first in that league. So up and down the lineup, I have Allen at QB. I picked up Rico Dowdle on waivers when he was a hot item. My first pick overall was Bijan Robinson. Jerry Jeudy in at wide receiver this week just because Ladd McConkey is going to be on bye. I have Ted McMillan, who went off this past week as well because Bryce Young went off. Travis Kelce was having a decent season. He's got top 5 tight end production. Travion Henderson finally going off. Denver's defense, who I got to replace this week. And then I have Aubrey as my kicker. So he's number 2 ranked on there. So kind of riding that train, obviously just attending to bye weeks wherever I can. But I know, Sean, you recently smoked me in our Superflex league that we're in. So not exactly doing so great there. I think I'm just finally below 500 there.
Yeah. I had a decent team in that league. I'm pulling it up as you were talking about it. I ended up drafting a pretty stout team. It wasn't really that good of a team until So I have Baker, Bijan, McCaffrey, because I went running back first and second pick. Rashee Rice, McConkey, Ferguson, Travion Henderson, Troy Franklin, Love. I had Jackson Dart, Leggett, DK, McLaurin, Booty, Laporta. I even have Mixon and Connor on IR. Just have a lot of serviceable players that I've been able to kind of do matchup based, work. So I think that's the main reason why I've been good this year in that league anyway.
There you go. But I'm gonna go back to our guru here, Joe. So any sleeper picks you have for the week here? So yeah, again, hey. Yeah, I'm gonna say again. You called your shot with Aomayor, so you happen to have a knack for it. So, and also, Carl, I know you're in a couple leagues as well. If you have any other picks yourself, I'd love to hear what you're kind of firing up for your leagues this week too.
I feel like I'm the opposite. I'm actually winning both my leagues, but I don't really have any hot tips here. Just try to find some guys with high projections.
Okay, here's my word of advice: if you've got a good team and have a free roster spot, I'd pick up the 49ers defense if they're available. They got the Panthers this week, Cleveland next week. They got bye week, but then first week of fantasy playoffs, you got the Titans. So
nice. It's very smart. Nice to look ahead.
That is a low-key play right there.
Look ahead, because you got to be playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
That's right.
You think about it, unless you're in a really serious league where you got everyone paying attention, that's tough. Usually you got a handful of NPCs that just go through the motions. If you're in a league like that where you got the NPCs and everyone's just going through the motions, and you got a good team, look ahead. Like, you're already in the playoffs. Try and find the defenses, maybe the kickers. The weather's starting to turn, so my word of advice, but typically when I have a good team, I want to pick up a kicker that's playing in domes because you don't
like
really
that.
have to deal with the weather. That's look ahead. Look ahead. That's my soapbox.
I like that. It's like similarly, I picked up that kicker Little from Jacksonville. He's booting 65 yarders. You get more points for the longer ones, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would rather have one like 50-yard, 5-point kick, field goal, and then like 2 PATs than like, I don't know, like
Then 3 20-yarders.
Yeah, or Jake Bates, who's just going to get like 4 PATs and call it a day. Like, Jake Bates is a good kicker, but you want to have a kicker who is going to be in the position to get you some field goals. So,
especially if you're a Saquon Barkley owner like me, and all those touchdowns get vultured anyway.
Yes.
Right.
Barkley was on my do not draft list this year, but in hindsight, I wish I would have picked him over CeeDee Lamb, who has been injured. It's very tragic.
And also temporarily benched yesterday.
What was that all about? Were they out on the strip?
Who knows?
Must have been
just coach's decision, to say the least. I
they
can't
were
say
out.
it. Yeah,
they were out.
Probably. Well, him and Pickens both that first series, they were both their bench, coach's decision. So obviously that still worked out in their favor only because they just destroyed like that hapless Raiders team. But still,
those Raiders got a clean house. They're a hapless team. It's just disgusting. Got
a lot of stink there, especially with Tom Brady.
Shout out to Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll stay. Let him work the offseason. Let him keep him for one more year. Friend of the other show.
I don't know if he's the answer there. I don't know if he's
the oldest coach. He's what? Is he 74? He's the oldest coach right now.
Yeah,
still looks young. He looks good.
Yep.
For his age.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe Belichick will come back and coach the Giants or something, because I've seen that as just a couple rumble rumor mill things too. That'd be weird, but still.
Is his girlfriend going to be on the side too?
Yeah, right.
They package deal.
Yeah, you got to sign up for that package too. But I don't think the Maras will be going for that. But this gets us to, gentlemen, the Grind My Gears Give Them Their Flowers segment, brought to you by Larger Than Life Balloons, because size matters. So at this point, you guys all know the drill. What's grinding your gears or really pissing you off lately, or what's been a real joy for you? So for me, I'm pretty obvious on this one. That'd be fall allergies or just fall crud going around. As you can hear my little prepubescent teen boy voice throughout the course of this show. I'm working through whatever crud is going through me right now, hoping the stuff I'm taking will eventually clear that up quickly, because obviously Thanksgiving is the other piece of this I wanted to have this week. Another thing that really grinds my gears are your bad Thanksgiving food takes. So with the holiday next week, hey, we got Shawnee V coming to make his way down to RVA next week. Can't wait for that. But
can't wait.
Yes, can't wait. But my biggest take on this, you got all these people shaming everybody for eating whatever sides you want. I mean, hell, I'm to the point where eat whatever the hell you want to eat on Thanksgiving. Don't feel bad about it. I don't care if you eat a vegan turkey. I don't care if you eat a steak. I don't care if you have the most obscure side dishes imaginable. But I mean, just don't, or maybe you don't even celebrate Thanksgiving at all. Just let people like what they like. Okay. I will hear no slander, though, against a truly GOAT holiday. How about yourselves, gentlemen? What's grinding your gears, or do you have something nice you would like to share?
I got something.
Flowers. All right, let's hear it, Bill. Let's hear it.
Flowers, let me tell you that. My neighbor. I can't imagine you're watching this, but if you are, I got a bone to pick with you.
So let him have it.
Your boyfriend to stop parking in front of my house.
Yeah. Let them know. Tell them we're going to come over.
A 4-car driveway. Park in it.
Especially now, you got snowplow season coming. You better park in the driveway.
If that car is parked in front of my house past the time that you're supposed to be off the street, I'm calling the cops.
So
done.
You got Joe here saying, "Get off my lawn."
Yeah, I'm trying to get off my lawn guy. You turn into a homeowner, and now you're get off my lawn guy. Like, I got a 2-car. I don't have enough space. Like, if I got to get out of the driveway because my wife has the garage, I got nowhere to go. I'm not parking a mile away because you're too lazy to park in your driveway.
So
Call him
You heard it here, a Joe's neighbor guy or Joe's neighbor's boyfriend. Joe's neighbor's boyfriend. So park your damn car in the driveway.
Yes.
I got a quick one, boys. I got a quick shout out to the NFL, the league, for getting this right. I don't know if you guys saw, but in the Bengals game, Jamar Chase spit in the face of Jalen Ramsey. He was suspended for 1 game, so he will not be playing this week, and then appealed the suspension, and it was denied. Good on the NFL for getting it right. There's no place in the league or that type of behavior.
While I will say, yes, good on the league. I wish it was literally any other week because the Bengals are playing the fucking Patriots. So
yeah, well, it's gonna be a big game. This is gonna be the game that what's his face goes nuts.
Team facing Jamar Chase. So
there you go.
Sitting out.
So good for you, Joe. T. Higgins. If you start your T. Higgins, he's gonna go out for like 200 yards. I'm gonna call it now.
Maybe Yosevus will have a game too.
Oh, true. Very true.
So I know Carl's off camera right now, but if he could hear us, Carl,
he's making a grilled cheese sandwich with tomato soup over there. I know it.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. I stepped away to
make grilled cheese.
Do some dad duties. No, don't worry. We know what you're doing there. But anything grinding your gears there, Carl, other than your lack of sleep, that you're about to get more lack of sleep as a.
I guess that's a good one because it's been more than one occasion that people are like, "Oh, your toddler's like giving you sleep problems. Well, you're just gonna be warmed up for the kid." And I'm like,
"Yes." So for those who don't know,
it works. I'm just
Carl and his wife are expecting baby number 2. So big congrats to Carl and his wife.
Nice.
There, so, yes,
but yeah, it's like the case of the Mondays lady from Office Space, just like, "Oh, you must be warmed up for sleep deprivation." I'm like, that's not how sleep deprivation works. I'm just more sleep deprived. It's not like I'm getting used to being sleep deprived. I'm just losing more sleep.
And you just feel more and more shitty about the whole thing.
Yeah, no, but it's I mean, obviously, it's like a purposeful tired and. Can't get mad at the cutest things on the planet, so it's obviously all good. I obviously say some of that tongue in cheek, but yeah, people love to tell me that I'm just going to be more sleep deprived later, which is true. Thanks for the reminder, everybody out there. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Totally what you needed to hear, right? So
yeah, exactly. No, I don't know if I got much more than that. Yeah, I don't know. Go Bills, go Sabres, and well, maybe just everybody pet peeve to cap it off is maybe Kevin Adams, right? Like, his employment is kind of grinding my gears. That could be one.
It's just an overall state of being, right?
Yeah, I'm sure he's a nice guy. It's kind of like you with the Chiefs fans, like, you're probably a nice guy, but can you please find somewhere else to be?
Yeah. And shout out to Adam as he was there with us too, just barking like a dog, just yelling "Go Bells" every time he was just around any Chiefs fan.
Love that guy. That guy's incredible. I can't wait to see another game with him.
Oh, yeah.
I met a very nice Chiefs fan in the line at a porta potty at Tailgate a couple weeks ago. So.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Did you push over the porta potty?
Get out of the way. And he was like, "Oh, you know any good wing places in town?" And I was like,
"Boy, do I." So, as we're wrapping things up here, folks. So, Joe, obviously, really glad you got to join. Carl, I'm glad you were obviously able to take the opportunity for it as well. Good little roundtable discussion we had here, gentlemen. But Shawnee V, any final parting thoughts for us as we're wrapping things up?
No, not really. I would just say it'll be interesting to see how the Bills play on a short week. At least it's fair. It's a fair fight. Both teams coming off a short week, so we really need it. Hopefully, the Sabres can continue to have players step up and kind of continue to fill in while we're dealing with these injuries, and hope that, among other players, that Norris comes back and doesn't get an oblique injury from bending over. That's about it.
Yeah, but with that, folks, to our nearly 1,500 viewers across all platforms, thank you for tuning in. Thanks, folks, to those who commented for the engagement. Always appreciate that. For next week, obviously, it'll be the week of Thanksgiving. So we'll be taking that week off just to enjoy the time with our families. But that first week of December, we will be joined by Neil Viapiano, a fellow Hockey Podcast Network partner with us on his Devils State of Mind podcast. Talk some New Jersey Devils. Maybe talk about Jack Hughes maybe slicing his finger off at a Chicago restaurant. You never know.
Ooh.
But until then, Sabres have that 3-game homestand coming up before they take their biggest road trip of the season. I think I was hearing it earlier today that the Sabres have 14 out of the next 20 games on the road. So brutal stretch ahead for them. So brutal stretch after this homestand.
Good for a team doesn't win it on the road very often.
Yeah, no kidding. But then lastly, of course, Bills facing Houston on Thursday night. See how they can fare there. And then on November 30th, they are in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. So as always, folks, thanks again for tuning in, and let's go Buffalo.
Let's go Buffalo.
Go Bills.
All right.
Sabres.